I just noticed I was just standing in front of the mirror. I realized because I just clipped my hair, and wearing white is now it's now gone all over my shirt, and I was just like, okay, see that like I'm learning as I go, right? Like, don't wear white on camera again. Hey everyone, I'm really excited today to sit with Jersey and Scott, the developers over at Clumsy Bear Studio. I've been following these guys for a while, and I'm really excited to sit today with them and talk about their game that they've got cooking for a while. So I'll hand it over to you guys. You decide who wants to go first, and just introduce yourselves and tell us about what you're about and tell us about the game.
Hey, I'm Scott. I'm a developer, the main developer. I do all the dev work and the artwork for Hungry Horrors at Clumsy Bear Studio. And I can pass it over to you, Jersey.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jersey. Yeah, as Scott said, he is the one who's actually building this game and doing everything around the the program and the artwork. So through marketing, publishing, game design, building the world, etc. So everything that doesn't involve much coding, because he's the main programmer here.
Excellent. Guys, thanks again for taking the time to sit with me. I know you're in that phase. It sounds like you're incredibly busy with pushing out a demo coming out 2nd of April, but also you're going over to England for a gaming convention. So I know your schedule is probably really tight, but I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me. First, I want to talk about Hungry Horrors. So yeah, tell me about Hungry Horrors. I mean, it's a roguelike deck building. Yeah, I'll let you explain it.
Yeah, it's quite. It's a bit different to some of the other deck builders. It's a rogue like deck builder, right, Jersey? I'm looking at Jersey to comment.
I would say it's more roguelite when it comes to
Roguelite.
semantics.
Sorry, I always get
Yeah, when
them
it comes
mixed
to
up.
semantics, people on Steam are they like pick on the exact wording. So roguelikes are more the games that you play once, like Balatro, Slay the Spire. Once you die, you die. That's the end, and then you can play again. Roguelites are the games more like Hades. Once you die, you bring some stuff with you back to the base to upgrade yourself for the next run. So you keep doing the runs, but every run you should feel more powerful and stronger and feel like you are able to progress further in the game.
Excellent. I was actually going to ask you about the difference between roguelikes and roguelites as a newbie. As you know, I feel like this, like these, like these words that describe genres get thrown around a lot, but I feel like just games in general have become so intertwined in terms of the genres and things like that. It sort of becomes hard to define um,
Yeah,
what yeah.
this is the problem. Like on one hand, you do have to define it. So because of the SEO of starting from Google through SEO on the Steam and all the other shops, you have to put exact tags. So if you put the tag for like survival, it can only mean one thing, and if you put horror, it can only mean one thing. But on other hand, all the genres are kind of blending with each other. If you don't want to do exact copy of exact game that started a genre, then it's really hard to decide like what means cozy game, for example, etc. It's easier when it comes, even when it comes to graphics. You now have this old trend of like 2D, but in the 3D space, for example. So is it 3D? Is it 2D? Is it pixel art? Or there is now the Sony going back to like PlayStation 1 graphics when it's all the textures are pixelated. So people like to play with it, and I don't think we need to define it just because of the search algorithm and to please the algorithm on all the shops. But in general, it's more about an adventure you can have in our game than to being stuck to one genre.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how um, it's just sort of like evolving constantly, right? Um, But I want to get a little bit more into Hungry Horrors because there's a super interesting mechanic in terms of there's there's no killing. So I'll get you to explain the twist that you've got in your game, and I'm interested to hear first of all, why did you decide to put that twist in there, and how did you come up with that?
So in Hungry Horrors, instead of killing the monsters, you have to feed them, which we went with that just because we felt like there's so many games where the main mechanic is battling, like you have like an attack or defense or whatever, and really wanted to do something like a bit unusual, a bit like out of the box. So really loved the idea of like cooking for the monsters, and yeah, when we started to go into it, was deciding what kind of themes would like to surround that around. We decided to lean into what we know best, so we've gone for like British Isles folklore, and British foods, and British Isle food, sorry, and yeah, I it's kind of amazing. Like Jersey did like loads of research into it, and I thought I knew like loads of dishes from like the British Isles, and the amount of stuff that he's found is crazy. It's like dishes I've never heard of, or like monsters and legends I've never heard of. It's kind of crazy how much there is out there.
Absolutely. I mean, like I don't know if it's some sort of like stereotype or whatever, but like I've always heard that like British dishes are like super boring, until I went to England, and oh my god, like the first of all, so fresh, almost like I went to this franchise bar, spoon something feathers Weatherspoon, is that
Live
Weatherspoon?
spoons.
That's
Oh
right.
my god.
Oh my gosh, like it's just a different feeling, you know. Just anything you order off the menu, lots of different things, and and just a little note to everyone watching. I've had an input in the game, if I say so myself. I don't know if you guys remember, but I did ask if you could include pasties in the game a while
Yes,
ago,
yeah, I
and
remember.
then Jersey, I remember talking to a while back, and you're like, actually, it's already in the game. So I was
Yeah.
like, excellent. Love pasties. What I find super interesting though is what you mentioned about just sort of instead of killing monsters, you've gone with feeding them. Um, is there anything deeper to that decision than just changing things around? Uh, like, were you? Does that make
I,
sense? Like,
yeah, I think it's more about the fact that everybody goes for like I I don't know if it's any deeper, but it's like every single
mm,
game at the moment, or from very long time, the mechanic is you have to kill things, and it's
mhm,
like, well, why the goal of the game is to kill as many whatever it is as
mhm,
possible? Why the games have to be about like every game has to be about killing, unless it's just for children. But why games that are not for children
yeah,
cannot be about something different than killing? Can we, get scores based on something else? And don't get me wrong, in our games there is lots of ways you can die. We don't do.
mhm,
It's not like fully kids friendly game that there is no way you can die,
mhm,
but we don't want to do it about killing. You can there is also the storyline that we want to introduce, that there is gonna be why you have to feed those monsters. But yeah, I think that there wasn't a deeper thought about it. It was just like, why do you have to always kill everything you see on the screen?
I love that.
Can I say as well, like when
Yeah.
we started to look into it more, we started to realize like how much we can do with that mechanic. So like, like the dishes have got like different flavors, they're made from different ingredients, which you like find on your run. You like find recipes and stuff, which like are unlocked in different ways. Like and then the monsters have like different preferences. So like, they might like or hate a dish. And so it's up to you to try and find out like the best things to feed the different, horrors as you're going along. So there was like so much like variety and richness we could get from using like cooking as like the method of combat, if you will.
Very, very interesting. I wonder though, how do you decide what the monsters like in terms of the food that you like? Is it linked to their story and the lore, or are you coming up
No,
with it
so
yourself?
likes, hates, and all the preferences that are RNG. So because we don't want this game to be like you play it once and you're done,
Right.
or also we don't want this game to be like somebody once play it and then they release all the flavors and that's it. Nobody else have to play it because this is the key. So and this is the whole point of the roguelike and roguelike game, that they are replayable. You can play it many times and it's fun to play it again and fun to play it again because you keep discovering new things. So monsters likes and loves are completely RNG, and every single game you play it's gonna be different.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's randomized at the start of the game, not per run. So like per game, you slowly learn more and more what particular monster likes or loves.
So different games can have, for example, I could run a game, an instance of the game. That monster would have certain likes and dislikes, and then someone else would run the game, and the same monster would like something different.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Because otherwise, you could just like learn, just always give this dish to this monster, and it's
Interesting.
kind of like less.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that. I thought, because I've played the demo that you guys have right now on itch.io. Been waiting for it for a long time, must say, and I played it on my PC. I played it on my Steam Deck. Played it on the Roguelite. Runs amazingly. I love the versatility. Like it's got a lot of depth to it. Even though it's a demo, there's a lot of depth to it. But it's not a super heavy game. So like, I feel like it's a game I can play on my phone if I'm being honest. Like it's super cool. I like that. So what I want to ask about is just sticking to the game for just a little bit more. You said there is a story in the game as well. How much of the story can you share with us? What's the story about?
I wouldn't share too much yet because we are in the middle of putting it all together. So I can say one thing, and it's in a week they're all gonna change. But the story is basically about the princess who is trying to save her kingdom. That's the core of the story. But we're gonna be revealing more and more as the time goes by.
What's the writing process in terms of story like this, where things can change, as you're saying, like you're working with different things?
So our process is Jersey's done a lot of research into like all these different beasts and horrors and stuff, and we'll create like a mood board of like different illustrations that have been done in the past of this particular monster. And then it's just literally a case of I try and make a pixel art version of it, and I kind of do it in, I guess, a particular style that like my pixel art is. Like I guess I don't really know how to do it someone else's, if that makes sense. So it just sort of comes out as however it comes out as. But yeah, usually it's like do like a couple of drafts of it, like see what elements of the monster we want to keep, because some of them are really, really strange. These monsters. I don't know if we can
example.
Can we say about one of them, Jersey?
Well, the ones that we have out already, yeah.
So there's one called Fakan, I think it's called, or Fachan is how you pronounce it. It's a monster from Scotland, I believe, and it has one leg and one arm, and that's it,
And one eye.
And one eye. And when we was reading about it, it was like, this sounds so strange. So then like you do the pixel art for it, and it's just like, well, it kind of, in a way, it sort of writes itself, because it's like, well, this creature has to look this way or this way, and then yeah, it just comes out how it.
One thing I noticed while playing the demo, and I'll say this, I didn't get too far into the demo just because I want to wait for the full release. I do this thing where I play a demo. If it really grabs me, I put it away because I don't want to spoil it too much. So, but from what I played, I realized like just in terms of the whole atmosphere and the visual aspect of the game, yeah, it kind of looks goofy. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean because it is a pixel art game, so it does look kind of goofy. But once those monsters appear on the screen, it does kind of like it does kind of scare you a little bit. And I just found it so interesting. Like, how are you able to do this? Where, like, with the color palette and the pixel art, I suppose, way of presenting things, you're still managing to capture this, like the like how the sort of scary or odd looking these monsters are, these horrors are. I found that is very, very cool. I really like that. Can I ask you? Sorry?
I'm so glad you liked the art.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those things that really popped out at me straight away, just the way it's visually designed. But I want to ask you, like, do you think your vision of the game is matching what you initially thought of at the beginning of development? Do you think, or is it vastly different now?
It's so funny because in some ways yes, and in some ways no. So like some of the monsters, like and the like biomes, I was like kind of surprised like I was able to like make it look that way. So I was like really pleased with it. And then there's other parts when you're building a game where you're like, oh, I really want to change this, or like that, like, that can't stay, or, and I think when you're creating something like that, like you become your own worst critic of it. Like you really notice stuff that like most people wouldn't even pay attention to, but like I'll like notice a pixel that's off or whatever, like on a background, like, oh, I need to just change that one pixel. Like it's not that big a deal, but like I notice it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Jersey?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is that we started off with a completely different game, and very quickly after a few months, we realized that the scope of the other game is way too big. So this was supposed to be the smaller scope, which is still massive and still not small. But I think that when it comes to the atmosphere and the vibe of the game, this is kind of what we're going for from the beginning, because our inspiration was like, let's make it horror, but not really horror. So like, let's make it as a horror if you consider Addams Family or Tim Burton movies horror. You know what I mean?
love
So
that.
more like a camp gothic
Yeah.
atmosphere. That was the vibe. Let's make it camp and make it gothic, and that's why the music was brilliantly written by Henry Taylor. It also adds this atmosphere to it, and was heavily influenced by like Tim Burton, Danny Elfman music for Tim Burton. When it comes to and that's why the goofiness of some characters, but with like horror elements, we want to like thread on this line. When it comes to mechanics, that's all changing and will change probably many times. So the game didn't really start as a deck builder, but then it was like more, because it's the recipes, and you see like when you have a thing about the dish and a car, it is a carb with the dish, so it kind of naturally progressed to being a deck builder. And then we are just really open to feedback. It's whenever I like see the games that they were did well for themselves, those were never like, oh, I just came up with this idea and I published it and everybody loved it. Those are people who were basically working with the community and listening to them and altering everything. One amazing thing about doing software versus any other medium, like for example movies, is once you do the movie and you publish it, it's done. It's out there. You can't really do anything about it. With a piece of software, you can always change it and always make it better. You just have to be open to listening to people's input. So at the moment we are on the stage that we have the game on each, the demo on each, and we listen to what people like, what people don't like, and based on it, we have a few patches coming out soon with lots of additional changes. And we cannot even guarantee that it's exactly this is gonna be what it's gonna be 1.0 release. I mean, it will be deck builder and it will be this atmosphere and it will be this game, but all the details, they are all fluent and they can change.
Very cool. I do wonder though, like with people, with getting feedback from players and maybe even other developers or whatever. How do you filter through the feedback to make sure you're staying? Because I'm assuming you have a vision for the game. So how do you filter through the feedback to make sure you're building a game that's going to be engaging enough for your audience, while also making sure you don't sort of stray away from your initial vision?
Yeah, it can be hard because some people want a very hyper casual kind of experience where they're just, it's really easy. I don't have to think about the deck mechanics that much. I just serve the next dish, etc. Some people want very high strategy. You have to really think about every single move, and it's really difficult to complete it without paying lots of attention to the detail. It's hard to strike that balance. I think ultimately you're never going to be able to please everyone with it. So you have to just go with maybe the loudest voice, and then sometimes it can just be a decision that feels right for the particular game. So there'll be some decisions where it's just well, this feels right for Hungry Horrors. It's not easy. I think you have to take it on a case by case, each piece of feedback. But we really do, all the feedback we get, we really agonize over each one of should we do it this way? Should we do it that way? We really want to make it the best version we can make it.
We have actually a document where we're writing every single piece of feedback from any medium we can find. And then obviously there is the ones that they keep repeating, which you are okay, we really need to address it soon because this is something that everybody seems to be agreeing on. So those are no-brainers. But when it comes to the vision for the game, well, it's really depends who you decide is your audience. And our audience is us. It's the game that we want to play. It's on the end of the day. And we always envision this game there's few things that people would like to change that we will never change. So for example, we always wanted it to be a 10-based game. Because we don't want to. I love Hades, for example. It's a great game, but I feel stressed after a few hours of, trying to play it. I wanted a game that I can chill out with. As you said, you can see it even on mobile, and I've noticed it when I play other deck builders. I start off sometimes on desktop, White, Frost, Spire, Balatro, etc., and then I move to mobile because I can lie in the bed and play it on the mobile. Or on the Steam Deck, or on any handset, Nintendo Switch, etc. We always envision this game to be like this. That the game that it does have depth, it does have story. It's not just next, it's not roguelike. We want people to actually follow some kind of story, learn a little bit about those monsters, learn about the food, discover this whole world, and discover the legends. But not to be I have to commit now 8 hours sitting in front of the PC with the best speakers and the best graphic card to play it. I can just lie down on the sofa because play for 20 minutes, have an hour when I'm waiting for something, then go back to it. That's how I always envisioned this game to be, and that's how we want the feeling to be. So if people are trying to push it in the other direction, you hear feedback, I don't like 10-based games, or deck builders are this, or strategy games are boring. Well, that means this game is not going to be for you, and it's good for you. There is lots of other games out there, But there is some things that we just not gonna be changing. And when it comes to hyper casual versus deep strategy, I think we don't want to hit neither. So we don't want it to be like, I don't know, Civilization, that you switch on and you have 7 billion stats you have to learn to even start playing the game. Although I love Civilization myself, but again, it's different kind of game. And we definitely don't want to make it a hyper casual kind of Candy Crush, or those auto battlers that they just idle games play in the background, because this is really not hours time of what we consider spending good time. We don't want the game to be just a background to watching something on YouTube. We want it for you to have a good time when you play it, but also ultimately learn something, discover something, explore. I always love the most in the game exploration element of it, discovering new things. So I want to make sure that the people, when they play it, they discover something as well.
Excellent. I love the fact that you have like as you described, like you have like a person that you're aiming for in terms of who you're marketing it to, which you said is like yourselves. And I think that's really interesting. It's a really interesting way of thinking about. One thing I've really started to notice since I've started talking to game developers is like there's so many parallels between game development and what I do for YouTube. Obviously, not literally like the same thing, but in terms of like an art form, an expression of art, like it's really made me realize that if I'm, for example, putting out a video, I really need to think about who the person who's going to watch this, who is that person. So hearing you guys talk about who you have in mind in terms of who's going to play that game, it's really cool to see how specific you are in terms of it's someone who's watching videos like YouTube videos, playing game on like it's just it's really cool. I'm just taking notes here as I make more videos and try to like market my video to specific people. It's really cool to see those parallels. Can I just quickly ask, like, so you guys, like, what are the games you guys played in, like, when you were growing up? Like, what games stuck with you, and perhaps like maybe some games that are, like you're taking inspiration from for Hungry Horrors as well?
So, well, I love pixel art, so there's like loads of different pixel art games that I love, like Celeste. I was a Stardew Valley fan as well. I also loved, I don't know if you ever played Into the Breach. That was like a lot of fun. That's kind of like a chessboard of like mechs and aliens, and it's a strategy game, turn-based, very sci-fi. There's loads of them. I'm just a huge gamer. I also partial to the odd first-person shooter as well.
I've been always a PC boy. I always played games on the PCs, so lots of strategies, lots of role playing, Civilization, Baldur's Gates, but the previous ones, obviously the new one as well, but the previous ones, I remember when they all were coming out. I was always a big Blizzard fan, especially in the good old days of Blizzard. So Warcraft, Starcraft, and all of those games. So I always like to exploration part of the game. So I would like the big worlds that I could get into, and then being Polish myself, CD Projekt was always on my radar. So The Witcher, obviously, and yeah, those are the games I kind of up with. So strategy and RPG. That's why there is some elements of both in this game.
Mm-hmm. How do you see those games influencing Hungry Horrors?
Yeah, I was just thinking. So there is it's a balance, because you want to. I would say it this way: there is certain ways that certain conventions that games are doing. For example, deck builders, and you want to be original, but you also don't want to completely changing the game to alienate everybody. Because if people already played certain deck builders, they expect certain things to happen as when it comes even to UI, UX, etc. So now it's like, how do you make it interesting and new, but still not make it that when you switch on, nobody knows what's going on. You want people to feel a little bit familiar. So those definitely, games like all the deck builders recently, like Slay the Spire, Balatro, Wild Cross, etc. They have some kind of even if we wanted or not, some kind of influence on this game because of we pay them to see how others are doing stuff. But there is not one particular game I would say that influenced it more. It's not like some people take it. Oh, we're gonna take Stardew Valley and make it in space. It wasn't ever this. It was more like a mixture of the genres of like, yeah, let's make horror elements and then cozy cooking elements and then deck builder elements and put in the fantasy mythological world and mix it all together. Is it gonna work? You will see.
We'll find
No,
out.
we'll find out. Yeah.
I think you can see like elements of inspirations. There's like a game called Don't Starve Together, which has got like a very Tim Burton-esque feel to it. And like we also kind of slightly leaning into the Tim Burton style of horror and kitsch camp horror kind of thing. Yeah.
You guys are in a really interesting situation, and I mean, I don't know if you're okay talking about, because I know when I talked to Jersey, you said like you guys are developing the game in Thailand, correct? Yeah. Are you okay to talk
Yes.
about that? Like,
Yeah.
what's it like
Yeah. No,
developing a game? I mean, I don't know your situation, but like in a foreign country, I don't know what's that like?
it's not even that we're not developing it, especially in Thailand, because we want to develop in Thailand. We were doing it in London where we lived, and it just became really expensive really quickly when we start doing it as a full-time job. So we don't have other jobs. We're just doing this right now. So all the savings start melting very, very quickly. And we was like, well, we knew we cannot we're not going to get anywhere this way. Every time, going to the shop, spending lots of money just for basic shopping. It was like, we have to cut the cost. And previously, a few years ago, we were working in augmented reality, and which I got kind of into. Then Scott joined me, and I had a small company. We're making augmented reality effects and mini games, and mostly like for social media, like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. And when we were doing it, we were doing the typical digital nomad lifestyle, traveling through Southeast Asia and doing this. That was 2019. It finished obviously on the pandemic when we couldn't do it anymore and we had to come back. But then we learned kind of how to do it and how much it all costs. So now it was the quick decision of like, wow, the costs are rising. Let's try to cut them down. Let's go to Southeast Asia. We started off from Chiang Mai, which we knew quite well because we've been there before. But now we ended up in Bangkok just because of changes because of the weather and pollution and where that depends on the month where it's good. And we decided to come to Bangkok now. So we are sitting here mostly just because the costs of living here is like between 1/3 and a half of what we're spending in London. So it's just to extend basically the money we have.
And it doesn't hurt that we love the food and the culture and the weather. Those are just
a
bonuses.
I mean, that all sounds to me. It sounds like I'm trying to think of some sort of what are the cons of working abroad, because it sounds like you're saving, like it's cheaper, amazing weather, delicious food, lots of things to do. What are the challenges?
One weird challenge, very strange one. It's when it comes to marketing and you try to publish things or talk to people, etc. It's when you are in Asia and you're talking to States, it's all in the very late times, and it's the same with like posting. And when you, for example, post things on TikTok is like regionalized. So when we post things on TikTok, it's now only being seen in Southeast Asia, which is when we post in English is not really our main audience for this content. So nobody in UK sees it. So there is challenges like this, mostly to do with time zones, and obviously like costs of any kind of like meetup or festival or anything we want to attend in Europe and US suddenly rises because you have to pay for a flight, which is much more expensive. But except this, I don't know. It's obviously depends where you're from, what passport do you have, what visa do you have. Like Thailand allows you those digital nomad visas, so that's what we are doing. So no, I know that some people do it less or more legally. When it comes to Thailand, it's all good. So
I'd say one of the cons is like you sometimes get homesick. Like I miss my friends and my family, and then sometimes I miss like certain foods that I would always get like back home that's like harder to get out here.
I'd
But
imagine working on a game
about food,
that's
yeah.
about British food. You might feel that a lot. One thing I just noticed, I was just standing in front of the mirror. I realized because I just clipped my hair, and wearing white is now it's now gone all over my shirt, and I was just like, okay, see that, like, I'm learning as I go, right? Like, don't wear white on camera again. So. But that's fine. I just gave it a flick. It should be fine. No one's gonna watch this and go, "Oh, you got hair on your shirt." Like, I don't think anyone
Yeah,
cares.
so we're like zooming into your t-shirt.
I know.
See
Yeah,
how-
you have to really try. Like, that's fine. But like, noted. Don't wear white on camera again. But yeah, Thailand is such an interesting place. I visited Thailand with my sister and my dad a couple of years ago. Well, it was meant to be me and my sister. We were gonna go for holidays, and then my dad just sort of found out about it, and he was like, "No, we're going to Vietnam now." So we had to get visas and go. And so I only got about. Here we go. Hey Jersey, I was just talking to Scott about when I visited Thailand with my family. It was like a couple of years ago. Me and my sister decided to visit Thailand for a holiday. Just Christmas holidays. We both, we each had like a really tough year that year. And I was just like, I just want to go on a beach somewhere and just sleep. And then my dad found out, and he decided, no, we're going to Vietnam now. So we got visas and things sorted, and I mean, I don't regret going there. I thought like that was my first time properly sort of exploring Southeast Asia, and just what an experience! Like, what a place. But I missed out on just relaxing on a beach somewhere in Thailand. So yeah, I should definitely go back. But
well, we are in Bangkok, so it's exactly opposite to the relaxing beach, as you can imagine.
yeah,
It's the word
tell me.
relaxing doesn't come to mind when you think about Bangkok. There is a lot of things going on at once, but it's far away from any beach, and it's a massive city. So it's the city size of London. So there's always something going on.
But going back to, we're talking about developing your own game as an independent studio, independent game. So you guys are working abroad away from family and everything. So that's going to have its own challenges and everything. But tell me a bit about some other challenges that you haven't mentioned yet, that perhaps you didn't think about going into it previously.
There's many, like the self-doubt, like the what you're making will be well received. I was really worried about my pixel artwork being up to scratch, but so I was really pleased to get like positive comments from the community that they like the artwork. I was very nervous about that. And then yeah, another con is just like how much work it is. Like there's only two of us, and it's a lot for two people to do all this. Really underestimated how much it would be, how much work it would be. It's like maybe like 7 times more work than I thought it was going to actually be. I was a fool. I thought I would easily be able to finish it much earlier, but yeah, it's just when you start digging into the detail and like doing artwork and coding it, fixing bugs, and then trying to make it compatible backwards, all of this stuff. It takes so much time, and that's not even to mention like all the social media side of it, or sound engineering. Like it's a lot.
Can I just can I be a little bit like ask for something a little bit more specific in terms of something you thought, oh, this maybe won't take too long, but once you actually got into it, you're like, oh my god, like this is not what I expected.
Almost for me, I have like this problem of being like over optimistic whenever I look at a dev task. So like almost everything we've implemented, I thought like, oh, I'll be able to do that like much quicker. And then when I actually start to do it, I realized there's a more volume to this task than what I realized. And it's been basically like that all the way through. Like every mechanic we've tweaked, swapped, added, every bug fixed. It's just I'm obviously like terrible at estimating in my own head how long these things take.
I mean, triple A studios constantly struggle with this type of thing with almost infinite money, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like you need to cut yourself some slack and be
I
like,
know.
it's you guys, you're doing well. Did you have some sort of time frame in terms of like when you want to have this game out by, or?
We did. So basically, uh, the only reason kind of I've joined full time into this project when I was in the beginning, just thought, oh, I'm just gonna help out from time to time. It was when I start like uh, getting into the whole reading how to publish the game, basically, and we're like, oh, okay, we're just gonna make the game and put it on Steam, and people will find it. Uh, well, when I started reading about it, watching YouTube, it's like that. No, there's a whole new world, and I have like a background in a creative strategy, working with apps and ads on social media, etc. But that has nothing to do with it. Steam is its own beast, and PC games are the completely different story. And we discovered, okay, that's actually like a full-time job for somebody just trying to go through this, just additional full-time job. Uh, and so, yeah, it's slowly like we were discovering step by step how to do it. Like there's lots of like good resources out there that and other developers sharing their journeys, but it what whenever you read somebody being actually successful with it, it's never like, oh, I it's all about just make a good game and it's gonna sell itself. That's not the reality of any content. You cannot just make a good movie and it's gonna sell itself, because nobody will see it when you put it on YouTube. If you just started a YouTube channel, it's the same thing with Steam. Like if you just put the game on Steam, on your Steam page, and nobody knows about it, nobody will play it. That's easy. I think it's like right now 40 to 50 games a day being released on Steam.
Something
So
crazy, yeah. The
yeah,
numbers are
so
just
it's like you
insane.
have no chance if you don't do it properly. And obviously, we are not double A studio, not even saying triple A. We don't have big fans or big publishers behind us, so we trying to do it ourselves. But I can see just still like on some of the, I'm on so many Discord chats and Discord groups, and I can see some of the mostly younger developers or younger people thinking like, oh no, no, I just gonna do it, put it out there, and if it's good, people will buy it. It's like that's not how the world works, unfortunately, right
That's
now.
really interesting, Jersey, because you're the second person I've heard say that you can't just make a good game and expect it to work. Do you know who the other person is? Phil Spencer. He said that about
That's
Microsoft basically falling behind in the gaming race or whatever. But I mean, it's true, right? Like, the level of competition is just so high. There's so many games just on PC alone. I don't know what your plans are in terms of other platforms, and maybe we can talk about it a little bit as well. But I can only imagine like wanting to pivot into other markets as well. Let's say the Switch or Xbox or the phone market. That's the each one of those markets is like its own beast to conquer, which is just it's a lot of work. But I think you guys are doing great. I mean, just by looking at like the videos that you're posting on social media, your Discord channel, just from what I've seen so far, I feel like for two people, I don't know how you're doing this. Like it's you know what like it's you're putting out a lot of stuff, and I can't even imagine like how many hours you guys are.
It's a lot of learning. Like I
Yeah.
literally we're making trailers for the game by me googling how to make a trailer and then how to use editing software, and then you just follow the instructions. That's we both have years of different jobs and skills. Called mostly as a programmer, me working in like marketing and a bit in the web development, but the just a small percentage of this is actually transferable. We thought much more will be easily transferable to it, but you discover that you have to just learn. Also, everything changes. Only because there's something was like useful 5 years ago, 4 years ago, doesn't mean that's useful anymore. So if you don't adapt and don't change and don't constantly learn, then you cannot get anywhere with it.
Can I ask you guys something about what you just mentioned, Jersey, about like your like experiences working at like other jobs that you had, and then how those experiences have transferred or maybe not transferred into game development? It's so interesting you mentioned that, because I mean I'm a primary school teacher by like that's my bread and butter, like 9 to 5. That's what I do, and I never thought the organizational skills and the people skills that I developed over the years as a primary school teacher would translate into my YouTube hobby. You know, like the fact that I'm sitting here talking to people I've never met before from all over the world, like reaching out to people, trying to create content. Like, I would have never been able to do this 10 years ago when I wasn't a primary school teacher. So that's one of the things that sort of caught me off guard, that I didn't think that skill I would be able to use to do this with. Is there a skill that you developed doing something else, but you were able to translate it into game development for game development? And you can say no, by the way, that's fine.
I mean, I think it all adds up. For me, I've been doing like software for a very long time now. I've done bits and bobs of different types of gaming. So like there was at one point in my career I was making like playable adverts. A different part where I was making games in augmented reality. Way back in the day, I did my own app for the App Store, which was like a game as well. So I think like I've always wanted to make a game, and like it feels like this is like the first proper try, like of the vision of like building a pixel art game for Steam that's like actually happened. But it's been like a long time coming, I think.
For me, it's more about the fact that I've been in last few years at least playing with like creative technology, mostly augmented reality, but before that other stuff as well. So it was always a new tech that there was no instructions. Like when I started with like AR, there was literally just a software, but there was no instructions how to use it yet. They were writing those when there was for like Facebook, when then TikTok released their own, the instructions were in Chinese and all the buttons were in Chinese. So you have to like translate every button to even know what, or just press it and see what it does. So learning things as you go along and not being asked to just join every single group and forum and ask for help and ask other people and talk to other people and see if they seen this problem, etc. That was my approach for work for many years now. So now I have the same approach with this. Like, no, we have never published a game for Steam before. No, we haven't made the game like this before, but there's other people who did do it, and there is so many people very open and want to share their knowledge and want to share tips. And there is so many people I found that they're like really already cheer us on, like trying to like even like companies, we like there is some publishers, etc., or PR agencies, or there's for example Pirate PR those guys were like, we haven't worked with them, but they were like sending us, oh, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should do that. Or there is some like publishers who don't know if we're gonna sign up with them or not, but they still trying to like give us clues or give us feedback, or so there is people who literally are happy to support you for free out there. You just have to be open to listen to it, and not being afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Tell me a bit about what your experience has been like building a community behind your game.
So this is very, very early, I would say, very early stages still. So at the moment, it's like we are on pretty much every single platform, especially that it's very weird moment in the social media landscape. If it was 4 or 5 years ago, there would be obvious, 5 years ago, let's say, be obvious you go to Instagram, Facebook, etc., Reddit, Twitter, that's where your people are. You have 4 platforms to do this. Right now, because of all the social media and political changes, etc., it's all over the place. So you have like another 3-4 competitors for Twitter. There is now competitors appearing for Instagram. There is what's next after TikTok. Is TikTok gonna exist or not, etc. On the top of it, every of them has their own audience, but this audience is moving. We are trying, so for at the moment it's still, I would say, searching. I'm throwing content to many different platforms and seeing where is our audience. I've seen the most of it is on Reddit. Most people who are like, they see pixel art game and they will click the link and they'll be interested to learn more. Some other games, indie games, doing amazingly on TikTok, for example, or Instagram. When I find those platforms are much more for those cozy 3D games, when there is the people like this 3D aspect, and the 2D games, even like comparing other games, they don't do that well there. But I'm still trying. Maybe it's like, oh, maybe if I do it this way, maybe I do it that way. So, but also you have limited amounts of hours a day. So it's still, I wouldn't say we exactly found where our community fully sits and our audience fully sits. We're still trying a lot of those platforms, and they work differently. Like on Blue Sky, we have like 5.8 thousand followers right now, but on Threads, when we have 600, there is more comments and engagement than from those 6,000. So, it's a bit strange how it all works. So slowly we're seeing the pattern. I really hope once we release the game on each, there is some community building there. Well, the demo on each. I hope once we get to Steam, we're gonna see more of the community appearing, and then hopefully bring them on the journey to our Discord, because that's the easiest way to communicate quickly and directly with people. When other platforms, you're always going to be dependable on the algorithm, dependable on how it all works. I sometimes see I post something and it's like you have 1,000 followers and only 200 seen it. So obviously it's not as easy to reach. And then, don't you get me even started on like things like Reddit and different subreddits and the rules, and how every of those subreddits have like different communities. So building the audience at the moment is more about still seeing where we can find the most people and then bring them on the journey with us on one platform. Ideally, that's going to be Discord, because that's where we can easily communicate. Unless there's something else going to show up within the year. I already heard rumors about that Discord might be changing and there is other platforms that's going to replace it. I was like, oh, I don't have time for it. Please, no.
I just heard that they're thinking about maybe going public or something, and but I mean, like the way I look at it, I go, well, this is, for me, is like, it's more opportunities. There's more space for me to try to find my audience. But I can also get, like, from your perspective, where it's like there's not too many options. Like, where do I? Do you think the pros outweigh the cons in terms of having more social media platforms, where, like, Twitter is sort of not really the place to, for whatever reason, people don't want to go there, or don't want to go there. Do you think there's more pros than cons to having more options, or do you think it'd just be better to have, like you said, 5 years ago, 4 places or 5 places? You put your stuff there, people will find it.
I
What's
think
your
it would be
opinion?
easier if they all didn't require you to have a different original content just cut for their version of it. So, like, at least with the text-based ones, you can kind of take the same text and post it in most of the places. But when it comes to images, okay, I can crop it to different resolutions, etc., redo it, it's a bit more work. But when it comes to videos, you will know, but it's like I cannot take the trailer from YouTube and just post it on TikTok because it won't perform as good if I will do it especially for portrait. But our game is not mobile game, so it's not
That's
made
right.
for portrait. So then it starts this whole journey of like, oh, how do I translate the kind of, after all, strategy game that has text and data into something that is better on those platforms, better like hyper casual exploding things. That's things that perform better, or completely like chill ASMR, somebody fishing things. We don't have neither. So that's why I'm sometimes thinking maybe it's not the place to go, maybe it's not the platforms we're gonna perform well because we don't have time. If we had like social media person, etc., just doing this, that would be fine, but we just don't have time to try and figure it out all the time. And then you post something and you have like 200 likes after a day of doing it. It's like, well, not 200, like 200 views. Sorry, 200 likes would be amazing. 200 views, and then it's like, okay, so why did I spend now whole day doing it? So it's really dependable. Is it worth it? It's a big question mark. There is this amazing Discord community, How to Market the Game, by Chris Zukowski, and that's what lots of people discussing it. And there is no yet consensus in the development space. It's like, oh, this is the place to go. It looks like every kind of game works better on different platforms, and especially when it comes to indie communities, you have to also consider gaming is a big thing. So, like, you have the triple A games, double A games that have money for marketing. You have also those casual, free to play games. They perform better on different platforms. And then in the space of the indie games that we actually want you to buy the game because we have to pay for our living and somehow, finance it. That's the only way. The free to play audience, they might engage with your content, but they're not gonna pay for the game. And then there is the big audience of like, oh, I don't play indie games, I just play triple A games. So they gonna might engage with your content, but they still not gonna be interested actually in your game. So only because you get likes on TikTok doesn't mean that you're gonna sell games.
Right.
So it's really, if I had the answer, where is our community and where is the easiest way to approach them, then I'll be selling courses online for $10,000. Just sign up here and find out how. But it's not that easy, unfortunately.
Can I just add, though, that the community we found so far are truly amazing. Like, the support we've gotten is so great, and we're so grateful for all the feedback, all the likes, all everything. It's just been incredible. So, like, thank you so much. If any of you've played Hungry Horrors, or like any of it, even a like or just an interaction, it's so great. The support has been so crazy.
There's so
So,
many people who are very like granular with their feedback, really get into it. Some of those people we don't know who they are and we'll never find out. They just send like, I have a Google form, and people just send it without emails, so we cannot even get back to them saying thank you. Some other like just leave the comments or they join Discord. But some other just send like, oh, I've noticed this and this, or I was able to break your game this way. And it's amazing, like, like I'm thinking about myself, when did I ever be bothered to like go and spend time on to tell somebody, oh, you have to fix this in your game, and not in the rude way as well. But that's why we went to each. I heard lots of good things about each community, that they are very supportive and that they are very open to try new things. So that was one of the reasons we chose each to start testing the game on. And obviously, we're going to release the game on each as well when it's ready. But yeah, I heard that this is a good place for people to go to before you throw it out there, for people to comment on it.
So two things I want to ask you. I want to ask before we move on from this topic. One is, so if someone plays the game, like how would you prefer for them to reach out to give you feedback? And I'll make sure I put a link to that method in the description in the video.
I think the best way is Discord because you can directly talk to us. But anyway, any comment under anything, any feedback through Google Form, or just comment under wherever you find the content, I will find it sooner or later. And I'm trying, I always thought I get notifications on everything, but I recently discovered that when somebody comment on the comment on YouTube, I don't get notification on it. Somebody comment under somebody else's comments. So, sometimes you might miss things. But yeah, I think Discord is the easiest way because we can have a conversation, and instead of going through messages on Instagram or TikTok or something like that.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put a link to your Discord channel down in the description. And the other thing I wanted to ask you was, I did want to ask you about why you guys decided to go with itch for your demo first, because so when this video comes out around the 2nd of April, there will be a demo on Steam. But you've already had a demo on itch, so you touched on why you decided to go with itch to begin with. Was there any other reasons besides the community aspect of it, or?
Yes, so the Steam kind of changed recently as well how you do the demos on Steam. Oh, there's multiple ways, reasons, but one of them, Steam changed, I think, in summer, and now the demos can have their own page, which means that people can rate the demo, and you want also, when you release demo on Steam, you can press this golden button once ever and send it to all your wishlist notification that the demo is out. You want to have as many wishlists at this point as possible to as many people to see it, that the demo is out, so to build some kind of momentum. So we thought okay, we need to make sure that this demo works well and people are going to be rating it, commenting on it, etc. And we were testing it obviously with friends and family, but that's not enough. And that's why the itch was a good solution, because there is a big community of people who they want to play games, but they don't want to engage with Steam for multiple reasons. We always thought we're gonna release it on something else than just Steam. Being dependable on one platform is never a good idea in any case of any content. So we wanted to release it definitely on Steam, but also on itch, probably on GOG.com, and then so there will be multiple reasons why first go to itch and then Steam later. Also, the Steam, we wanted to make a moment out of it, use it with something else. So now we said we're gonna release it for the London Game Festival, which we got selected for the official selection as a games made in London. So we
Amazing.
Want to open up with it.
So let's now go into sort of that part of the interview that I was talking about in terms of, so the exhibition, the convention that you're talking about in London. What are you expecting? And, how can people find you if they can make it to London to see you guys? What can they expect when they get there?
Well, it's the first time we've done this, so it's a bit hard to know exactly what to expect. But Jersey's going to be the one that's heading there, so I think he has more details about it, right?
Yeah, so there is 2 moments basically London Game Festival. I think lasts almost 2 weeks, and there is lots of events during this, including BAFTAs being given for different categories for the games, etc. We are taking part in the two. We are a part of the official selection, which is I think it's 40 or 50 titles a year they select in different categories, and we are going to be showcased in the New Game Plus, which is 3rd and 4th of April in the London Museum. There is the expo there for public and for people from industry. What can we expect? I have no clue. We've been to some expos before. We never did it ourselves, so I have no idea what to expect and how it's gonna look like. And also, this is the New Game Plus. They're doing it first time ever, so even they cannot tell me what to fully expect. Like they don't have any specs of like how it all looks like. I still don't know how it all looks like, and so there's still a big discussion. Then weekend after on let me just find the dates, but the weekend after, I think it's like 12th, 13th of April, there is an event on the Trafalgar Square in London, and this is free to attend for public. So whoever is in London, they can just come over and join. And this is basically there's going to be London Game Festival pays for lots of volunteers with Steam Decks and the stations where you can go and on the Trafalgar Square play different indie games. And I don't know, I think all 40, maybe not, but selection of those games that they are taking part in the official section are going to be playable there. So you can head into Trafalgar Square and test lots of indie games, which I didn't even know it was a thing. So I'm really excited.
You learn as you go, right?
Yeah. The thing is, I've never seen. There's always something happening on Trafalgar Square. So, but I kind of missed it. I don't know. Maybe it was just last year. I don't know when they start doing it on Trafalgar Square. I wish I knew it before, so I will go and play the games myself. But yeah, we're excited to take part in both of those moments. So that's going to be very interesting to see the public reaction.
Fantastic! That's really exciting. There's a gaming festival exhibition happening in Melbourne, the 22nd and the 23rd of March. I don't know. I was hoping you guys would be going there, seeing as you're in Bangkok. It's closer. Melbourne's closer to Bangkok than London, so.
This is
but
true.
maybe another time. So I suppose the end of it is like with social media. I know we talked about you guys have so many different accounts, and I'm gonna make sure I put links to all of that in the description. But I suppose where can people find you? And yeah,
I think we are the most active currently as a clumsybearstudio.com on Blue Sky. So that's one of the biggest accounts when it comes to the text ones are the ones I update more than once or at least once a day because I don't need to create the whole video to do that. So there's definitely more information there. And then Discord is a good place that we post lots of stuff. But I think the best way to that's when it comes to information about the game. Other option is just to go to Steam and wishlist the game, because when you wishlist the game, you do get the notification I was talking about. When the demo is out, it will actually go and notify you. And then we do post on Steam. Also, they have those community boards when you can post the news about the game. So all the big updates and everything like this will be posted there.
So everyone watching this video, go on Wishlist Hungry Horrors on Steam right now, because or go and try the demo, and I don't have to convince you, honestly. Just play the demo, you will see what we're talking about here. You're gonna want to wishlist it. So I'll let your work do the talking. It's an excellent game. Like I mentioned, I didn't finish the demo because I want to play the full game. I'm not gonna touch it until it fully comes out. So please, just make it a little bit faster if you can. And, good luck with everything. With the London Festival, development of the game. working and living abroad with all the challenges and everything that comes with it. Good luck with it all. Thanks again for taking the time to sit with me and answering my silly questions. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what you guys are cooking and when it comes out, and look forward to playing the game. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Really, really means a lot to us. It's actually the first podcast we ever done, so thank you so much.
Awesome.